Hello and welcome. It's a new video, and this one covers the Sha of Fear heroic fight. It's supposed to be a guide. It's my first guide, possibly my last one, because it's going to be a fairly long video, and yeah, I don't know how many people are really interested in it. Before I start, I should mention that this mostly covers the ranged DPS role. It's not really a good guide if you're a tank or a healer, so keep that in mind. There are a number of abilities that tanks need to be concerned with and so on, and I'm not really going to cover those because this isn't the best point of view for those. Now, one thing I should mention before starting is that when you start the fight, if you're still progressing, this whole so-called guide covers people who are progressing throughout the fight, who are trying to understand the fight, not people who are coming in here with, best in slot Siege of Orgrimmar gear. Those guys would not need tactics or whatever. Make sure that you've got your flask and make sure that it's got at least 15 minutes remaining. I'm starting this pull with just 13 minutes left, and because of that my flask is actually going to expire towards the end, and I'm going to be too busy to risk looking to the right hand side to click another flask because now I don't have that key bound. Right, so as we start, you can see that there's a ring of light here right next to Sha. A tank will have to step into that ring of light, and when they do that, what is going to happen is that two walls of light are going to be created, one going around here, the other one going around there, and as such they will create sort of a slice, a section of a circle, triangle if you wish, and you want to be inside that circle and behind the tank. That way you will know that you're in a sort of safe position, you're not going to get feared, you'll only have to avoid the projectiles thrown by some adds that are going to spawn on both sides of the circle. Those circles, you'll see them in a moment, they're really just pretty easy to dodge, so we don't bother killing those adds. The adds themselves will also have that courage of the Emperor, or the Emperor's Courage shield, meaning that you'd have to get behind them to be able to hit them. We start and straight away we pop Bloodlust, and if you look at my cooldowns, you'll notice that I already used Stampede, I used the Murder of Crows along with Rapid Fire and even the Engineering Gloves. If you're trying to parse, do not do this, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. The reason for which you don't want to do this if you're trying to parse is that you'll want to save those cooldowns if you get ported to a platform and if you make it back safe. You can see in here 5 people, and this appears to be based on player IDs, much like the Madness of Deathwing encounter where the tentacles always picked the same people, right? So it will be 1 tank, 1 healer and 3 DPS getting ported to a platform. You'll see what happens there in a moment because I'm going to be sent there as well. Now, if you're sent there, I'll cover that in a moment. If you're not sent there, just stay here in the section. Avoid these expanding circles caused by the projectiles being thrown by these adds. They're really easy to dodge. You don't really need to put in a lot of effort. I don't think I got hit by a single one of them, and this was a GDKP, and it was my first time here, so if I manage to avoid them, so can you. Now, these adds will become, initially you start with 2, then you'll have 4, 6, whatever, so at some point, if you're not DPSing Sha down fast enough, you'll have too many of them, and then you're screwed. Now, in here, I get picked to be sent to a platform. And there are 2 options. Either you rely on a weak aura for it, and I use 4G for that, or you can rely on maybe having a picture such as this one on your second monitor if you've got one, or just remembering this. The idea is that you will be sent to a platform, there will be an NPC in the middle of the platform, shooting, using random abilities, basically shooting with a bow, and at some point it will start doing volleys and these are marked depending on which platform you go to. You can't really choose this, you're getting sent to a platform really, and there are 3 of them, left, back and right, with a specific NPC on each of those platforms. And that NPC will be doing some volleys. You will see that in a moment. The idea is that it will hit specific sections in a predetermined pattern. What you see here, marked with green, is the safe spot during those volleys. So for example, if I were sent to the left platform, initially the entrance slice, think of this as you would think of a pizza slice if you wish, the entrance slice is safe for the first volley, but then you have to move to the right hand side because this is the section that becomes safe. This obviously is different between platforms, just to make the encounter so much harder, I guess. Personally, I think this is a bit tricky, and some people may not even have 2 monitors, so you're probably better off just using a weak aura for it, or I don't know, maybe it's included in DBM or bigwigs. I wouldn't know. Either way, like I said, I use 4G. So when you're picked to be sent there, you're transformed into this sort of flying Sha ad, and you will be flown to that platform along with your 4 teammates. When you get here, obviously you want to start DPSing this guy straight away. And as you can see, the weak aura I use tells me to move left, and the correct slice, the safe slice, is marked here. So I move left. There are a couple of things going on here. Firstly, this guy will keep spawning some globes, and those have to be picked up. They need to be picked up for a couple of reasons. Number one is that if you don't pick them up, they will heal the NPC, thus keeping you on the platform longer, because you can't leave it until he's dead. And you will see someone picking up these globes. I try to pick them up occasionally as well. Now in here, you can see that I'm told to move right 1 slice, right to the entrance where we started, because that's supposed to be the safe spot. But for some platforms, safe means that you will actually get hit, but you should only get hit once. So in here, you can see this guy starts shooting, and would you know it, I am hit. And if you look at it, I've got this debuff on me right now, lasting for 8 seconds. I've only got 6 seconds left, but it normally lasts for 8. Now, the ability that we're talking about is this dread spray, this volley type of ability. If you're only getting hit once, that's fine. But if you're getting hit for a second time while you've got that debuff on, you're going to be feared in place. And that's a bit unfortunate because obviously you're unable to move while you're crowd controlled and you may get killed. You can see this guy here, Mosho Lina something, got feared once, and I think he's gonna get feared for a second time. But if you follow the weak aura and if you don't get super unlucky, you should only get hit once. You keep repeating this, get the globes, try to move to a safe spot. You're going to get hit once there, maybe twice if you're unlucky or bad. This guy got hit twice again. Pick up the globes, you try to get the NPC around 20%, at which point it will start doing that Death Blossom ability. Now that is not the type of ability you try to move around for, instead you need to line of sight it. So the easy way to do that, the only way I'm aware of, is to hide behind the pillar when he does that thing. And you can see he's starting to do it now, so I just go and hide behind the pillar. I wait for it to be over, then I go back up, back out, and obviously we start DPSing him again to kill the guy. And when he dies, he leaves behind the golden globe. You click on it, and as soon as you do that, you get ported back to the platform. And when you get ported back to the platform, you've got this buff on you. For 30 seconds, you're going to be doing 60% extra damage. You're going to be immune to fear, and you're going to have a, I don't know, movement increase of sorts. This gives you enough time to get back into the Wall of Light section safely. Because you've got this 60% extra damage, like I said, if you're trying to parse, you would want to have your cooldowns ready. Stampede, Murder of Crows, whatever. rapid fire, I don't know, the gloves, anything you can. I did not do that, simply because honestly I had no idea if I'd even be sent to a platform or when, whether I'd even survive it, so I was like, might as well do my best. Speaking of surviving, don't do what this guy here did, don't die, because while you're progressing the fight, the main thing I would say is to reach the next phase with everyone alive. You don't want to have to waste combat races on them because you're probably going to need them for your tanks. And in addition to that, well, you kind of need all the DPS you can get, and people are more likely to die in that phase, not in this one. People are going to keep being sent to those platforms. You are just going to avoid, you're going to dodge those projectiles, those rings of whatever the hell that is. It's pretty easy to dodge them, really. One thing worth noting is that the last team that gets sent to the platform before Sha is faced, they don't actually need to engage the raid. You can see that we've got 1.40% left until Sha is faced to what's called phase 2. And when that happens, everyone, including the people on the platform, they're going to get ported to phase 2. So because of that, you may want to avoid doing anything if you're the last team to be sent to the platform before Sha is faced. Just stand there behind the pillar and just wait for the rest of the raid to face Sha. Now, one thing worth noting is that when you're sent to phase 2, when you're ported there, your cooldowns are reset. So I would have Stampede ready, Murder of Crows ready, and the Bloodlust debuff is also removed, the Sated debuff. Because of that, it's completely safe to use your cooldowns, everything you've got left before you get sent to phase 2. You'll see that in a moment. When you get sent to phase 2, you can see here my Stampede still has 48 seconds left, but pretty soon, right now in fact, it's ready and the Sated debuff is gone. As you start phase 2, if you're an engineer, you want to use your rocket boots. If you're not an engineer, you'll have to rely on the druid, whatever it's called, Stampede, I think, or whatever, Stomp, something, movement speed buff, to be sent, well, to reach Sha faster, just to gain a few extra seconds of DPS uptime on the boss. If you're a hunter, obviously, you start that with a misdirect. Now, there are a few abilities we need to discuss in phase 2. One of them is this one, Phantom. This will Sha will attempt to hit the tank's position with a cone, sort of a shockwave, and the tank will have to move out of them. Unless the tank is bad and turn Sha towards the raid, you don't need to worry about it as a ranged DPS. If they're doing that, chances are they're bad and you're gonna wipe anyway. Another ability that Sha will be using will be Huddle. Huddle will fear the person being hit by it in place. You will be crowd control for 12-13 seconds, something like it, and you will be taking 90,000 damage every second while you're debuffed with this thing. The debuff can be cleared by the Champion of Light. There is a light here, one person holding it. In this case, it's this guy, Fake Chemodan. You can see the symbol here, and you can also see it on the raid frames if you're using something similar. I will have to cover that in a moment, but before I do, there's also a submerge ability. You can see it here. Sha will simply disappear. It will go behind the floor or something, and it will leave behind a blue cloud. You want to make sure to move out of that cloud as soon as possible, because if you're still in it when Sha re-emerges, you're going to be insta-killed one shot. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got 3 people marked, and we've got a few markers on the floor. We've got orange here, we've got the triangle green there, and we've got purple diamond right here. These are not random. They're positioned in sort of a triangle around the boss, avoiding the frontal attack, the shockwave attack. The idea is this. one person, in this case this priest here, will be holding on to the Champion of the Light buff. Whoever does that, they get an extra action button, the type of action button you've seen before. You've seen it on Garajal, you've seen it on I don't know, you've seen it even on Madness of Deathwing, you've seen it on Ultraxian, and so on. When they target a player, and when they use that extra action button, that light is thrown to that player. This serves a couple of purposes. Number one, whoever is holding the light is going to be chased by the adds spawning in this phase. Initially you'll have 1, then 2, then 3, 4. Ideally you wouldn't want to reach 5, but during progress you probably will. So whoever's holding onto the light will be chased by the adds. While you're holding onto the light, you're actually unable to move, so chase may not be the correct term here. But those adds will start moving towards the person holding the light, and they will gain speed fairly quickly. However, when the light is thrown to another player, those adds will instead start chasing the other player, the one who just got the light. And because of that, we position these guys in sort of a triangle pattern here. What that does is it forces the adds to slowly start stacking and moving through the boss. This gives us the opportunity to cleave a bit. You can see an explosive trap under the boss, and you will see me doing multi-shots as well. So they will basically just keep throwing the light from one person to the next one when the adds get close to them. When the light is thrown, the speed of those adds is also reset. They once again start moving slowly. So that's what it's actually used for and how it's used. The other thing worth noting is that whoever is holding the light is immune to this huddle debuff. You will see that debuff in a moment. It's worth noting that some guilds, some raids use hunters or DPS to do that, but it's actually, in my opinion, and in this raid leader's opinion, it's better to use healers for it. Because again, whoever's holding the Champion of Light thing, they are immune to huddle. Huddle, like I said, it fears you in place, and your character is crowd controlled for 12-13 seconds, something like it. If a DPS gets huddled, and you will see me going through that, well, they're unable to DPS. Who cares? Not a big deal. If a healer gets huddled, well, that can be a problem because it could mean that your tank is going to die. It could mean that some raid members are going to die. Not cool. So, in my opinion, it's best to use healers for this thing. Now, we pop Bloodlust here, and you can see that I popped a potion. This is actually a huge mistake on my part. This time I did not get a penalty for it, but here's the thing. The potion started ticking, and I'm going to be popping rapid fire as well. However, there's a special ability coming in soon. And that's probably going to be huddle, or frontal and huddle, whatever. If I get CC'd for 13 seconds, I've basically wasted my rapid fire, my synapse springs, my potion, whatever. So wait until huddle is used by the boss. That's the frontal attack, by the way. Huddle is now coming in. And if I got hit by huddle here, which I didn't, but this guy did, I would have wasted the trinket proc, I would have wasted the potion, I would have wasted rapid fire and whatever else, even, well, 1 second, I guess, of Lord Blastington proc. So it's best to wait for huddle to be cast before using your cooldowns, including your second potion. Now, spouts is the last ability that you need to be concerned about. This just places a dark blue, I guess I'd call it, circle behind your feet, and you want to move out of it because when it procs, when it explodes, whatever you want to call it, it will do a whole lot of damage and you might get killed. It's basically, yeah, these dark blue circles you can see here on the floor. You need to be a bit concerned about it when it's combined with huddle, and you're going to see that in this video pretty soon. In the meantime, like I said, we start with one ad. The raid leader has asked us before the raid and during the raid to single target DPS Sha and let the ads get killed by passive cleaves. Because, you know, some classes like Warriors, DK, and whatever, they do have passive cleaving abilities, so no need to target the ads, just focus on Sha. This is a bit of a difficult choice to be made here, really. You can either have your entire raid cleaving the ads, but then Sha will lose HP slowly, and that will result in you getting more and more and more and more ads until they simply overwhelm you, right? Or you can have the raid focusing Sha, thus reducing the amount of ads you're going to be seeing at the same time. It's your raid leader's call. I would say this is the correct thing to do, which is to single target DPS Sha. Okay, so we are going to see the huddle ability hitting me as well. I'm not sure whether it's going to happen anytime soon, but we are going to see it in this encounter. Once again, you've got the water spouts going on. You've got 2 ads coming in. Like I said, you start with 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, and so on. Until they either overwhelm you, or you hit the berserk timer, or you kill the boss. So I am sticking to doing single target DPS. Occasionally I do a multi-shot just to apply Serpent Sting there. I do have my trap down. It's not doing a lot, but it's doing a bit of damage. I try to DPS the ads when Sha is submerged, simply because I have nothing else to do during those few seconds, right? So that's safe to do. Everyone should target them and obviously try to kill them while Sha is submerged. What else would you do as a DPS, right? Okay, that's another frontal you can see there. And huddle is coming in a few seconds as well. Let's see, is this the one? Yeah, this is one of the times when I got hit by it. And you could see it started at 13 seconds, and I am going to actually hover over it during the video. I was crowd control anyway, right? What else would I do? And you can see it's 90k shadow damage every second, and you're cowering in fear. Basically, you're CC'd. You're unable to control your character, right? What's important here is that if you look at the timers, water spouts are coming in 5 seconds. They do have a cast time, but it's not that long. Because of that, you want to make sure that while you're huddled, if you're not getting your debuff cleared by the champion of the light from the light to you, you need to make sure that you spam your movement keys or mouse buttons or whatever you're using to get the hell away, because you've got this animation around you, the huddle debuff animation, and you could potentially have a water spout spawning right below your feet. So you need to make sure that you're moving straight away as soon as you can, because there could actually be a water spout below you and you wouldn't even see it. Right, so spouts is coming in, and you can see me moving straight away, and would you know it, water spout was right under my feet. So yeah, make sure you're moving straight away, no delay at all. Spam those movement keys, boys. Right, well, this keeps happening over and over again. The only difference is how many ads you're going to get. The ads are going to be kited around by throwing the light around. You are going to see this champion of the light thing going from one person to the next one and so on. The idea is to get the ads, like I said, moving, stacking and moving through Sha so they can be cleaved by everyone, ideally. At this point I should have already used another flask, but yeah, honestly, I was like, no, I'm not going to look to the right-hand side and move my mouse there to click a flask, because I don't know what's gonna happen. In retrospect, though, while I was huddled, I could have easily done that. Again, it was a mistake. Yeah, it's not a perfect kill. It's not perfect play by me, so whatever. You can see that now we've got 3 dread spawns. What the raid leader asked us to do is to keep single target DPSing Sha until we've got more than 4 ads up. If we got more than 4, we should start cleaving. In fact, as you're about to see, that didn't actually happen. You'll see what happens in a moment, really. So, like I said, this keeps repeating. The ads are coming from different directions, and that's the problem. It's a problem because it becomes more difficult for the champion of the light to sort of stack them up. When you've got the ads coming from here, 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 it's kind of difficult to stack them up because if they reach the person with the light, they're going to kill that person. Like, it's not even a question. So, if you need to stack 2 of them up, that's fine. If you need to stack, I don't know, 6 of them coming from 4 different directions, I would say you're kind of screwed. It is also a race against time. You can sort of see a berserk timer up there. It's still got 9-10 minutes left, so it's a bit difficult to see. It's kind of grayed out. But again, at this point, we only had 3 ads up, so not a huge problem. And of course, you want to move the hell away from the spouts. You keep single target DPSing Sha. We've now got 4 ads up. And yeah, once again, I got huddled. It's not a huge problem. Again, if you get it as a DPS, it's not a big deal. If healers get it though, then that's a problem. So the person holding the light needs to be mindful of that. And if they see a healer getting the debuff, I'm assuming healers would have the raid frames kind of in the middle of their screen. They would need to throw the light to that healer in order to free him from the fear from the crowd control, right? Okay, so we've got 4 ads up, and we're still single target DPSing Sha following the request of the raid leader. And we're only going to DPS them when Sha submerges. For the rest of the time, we are supposed to just single target DPS Sha. It is what I'm doing, it's not what everyone else is doing. And if you want to get a clear idea of that, we can look at this. When we started this phase, I was somewhere on number 3 on DPS. And as the phase progresses, as we get more and more ads, you're going to see me dropping to the point where I'm not even shown in the top 7 anymore. You'll see what I mean towards the end, right? Okay, so once again, we do the same thing. Avoid spouts. Be mindful of the cloud left when Sha submerges. DPS ads when Sha is submerged. Avoid frontal. You shouldn't need to do that if you're range DPS. It should only hit the position of the tank, and the tank should face Sha away from the raid. But, you know, just make sure you don't get hit by it anyway. Again, I'm not going to cover the tank stuff like Naked and Afraid, which you can see up there. It's not the best video for that, but tank POV would be much better for it. So again, at this point, we've got 4 of them. We still keep nuking Sha. We're trying to bring him down as much as possible so we get them in, let's say, execute range. Unfortunately, not everybody's doing that, as you can easily see here, and we'll go over the logs in a moment as well. Again, because I didn't make sure that the flask was going to last for at least 15 minutes, I am actually going to lose it. So yeah, it was a poor decision on my part. Then again, it is a GDKP, not particularly worried about that. Alright, so Sha is now in execute range, as they call it, below 20%. Everyone starts spamming executes and whatever. We've still got the ads to deal with, but that's dealt with by the 3 people juggling the champion of the light thing, right? Okay, I'm still single target DPSing. I do occasionally throw a multi-shot just to try to help with the cleaving part. It should really only be done by, I don't know, warriors, maybe rogues, maybe. But it's not a good idea to get the entire raid to do it, because Sha is going to die really slowly then, and eventually you'll be overrun by ads. There's not much else going on here, but again, you can see that we've now got 5 of them coming in, so at this point we would normally start cleaving. That was what the raid leader said initially. However, at this time, seeing that Sha was on 14%, he was like, no, keep doing the same thing, just try to nuke Sha down. So again, I am doing that single target DPS stuff, and I don't really worry about these guys at all. It's worth noting that right now, damage done to these does count towards your DPS and as such towards your parse, towards your Warcraft log score, if you want to call it that. So if you're trying to parse, you absolutely must clear these guys. If you don't care about that, if it's you're heading towards your first kill, just do whatever the raid leader tells you to do and hope for the best, I guess. Again, this keeps repeating, and right now you can see that we've got 2 ads coming from there, 2 more coming from there, and behind Sha over there you've got more. So at this point it becomes a bit of a problem, because it's far more difficult to get 5 ads coming from different directions to stack. Even with the, throwing the light and whatever, it does become quite difficult. So it's really a race against time here. If you take too long to bring Sha down, you're going to be overrun by ads way before the Berserk timer reaches the end, right? I would say single target DPS Sha, again, let these guys die to passive cleaving, especially if you've got a bunch of rogues, combat rogues in the raid. If you don't, I don't know, do whatever your raid leader asked you to do. So at this point, the call is being made. Just kite those around, I don't care. Just kill Sha, he's on 2%. He has to die, right? This was after like 16 wipes or so. So yeah, at this point you are going to see me dropping down as well in terms of HP. And I think I'm going to be using deterrence as well, just to try to stay alive for a bit longer. Or maybe that already happened. Yeah, I think it already happened earlier. Don't be afraid to use your cooldowns if you've got anything defensive that doesn't gimp you too much. As a hunter, if you use deterrence, you can't shoot, so it's a bit iffy. But as a druid, I guess if you've got, I don't know, bark skin or whatever, it may be worth using that. So I do get my first kill. I do get the Chimera of Fear because I was too noobish to know that I could have done the Temple of the Jade Serpent thing instead. Now, I mentioned the damage. You could see me going down from number 3 to, I don't even know what this is, number 12, 11, and green bars. And that's because I followed the directions like single target DPS. It looks pathetic here. Anyone looking at the logs would be like, oh yeah, this guy is either half AFK or he's utter shit, doesn't know what he's doing. If you actually look like the damage done to the Sha of Fear, well, I'm not doing that bad, right? But again, this only covers the parsing part. If you're interested in getting a good parse, you would have to clear those ads down. You can see that there's no note here stating that, damage done to the ads is ignored or whatever. Nothing like that. So if you look at the person in the first place, he's done 41.5 million damage to the Dread Spawn. If, on the other hand, you look at me, I've got 9.6 million. And then one of the hunters, the only hunter who climbed on top there, he's got 6 million more damage done to the Dread Spawns. It's a matter of choosing whether you follow the directions given by the raid leader or whether you ignore the instructions and you just care about your parse. It's completely up to you. I don't know what to tell you. In what concerns me, yeah, I decided to follow the instructions, just single target DPS Sha, and occasionally I did throw an explosive trap. I did throw a multi-shot when they were passing through Sha, but obviously it wasn't enough. That should cover most of it. So quick recap: you start, make sure to be here inside the Wall of Light section where you don't get feared. You decide whether you want to use your cooldowns on pool during Bloodlust or whether you want to save them for when you get back with that 60% buff, right? In what concerns the platform, if or when you get chosen to be sent there, just do your best to avoid getting hit. You are on 2 out of 3 platforms. Even if you follow the weak aura, you're still going to get hit once, and that's okay, just as long as you only get hit once, not a second time while you've got the debuff on, because then you're going to get feared, and that sucks. So yeah, in here you'll see me getting hit. I get that debuff on, that's fine, but Mosholina, the guy there on the platform, he did get hit twice, so he was feared for a bit. And then he's gonna get feared again. He's doing a lot there, trying to get the globes and so on, so this sort of thing is to be expected, sort of. When the NPC reaches 25%, make sure to go and line of sight the ability. Was it Death Blossom? Yeah, Death Blossom. So go and hide straight away. Don't waste time there. It hurts. It hits like a truck. Wait for it to be over. When it's over, go back in, finish the NPC off, click on the golden globe, light, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, and get sent back to the main platform to Sha. When that happens, you've got your 60% buff. Use it accordingly. If you've got your cooldowns, blow them all, no problem. Remember, the team being sent to the platform just before Sha is faced, you don't need to do any of that. Just wait there on the platform until the raid phase Sha. And remember, when that happens, when Sha is faced, remember that your cooldowns will be reset, so use whatever you've got left without worrying too much about it. If you're an engineer, remember to use your rocket boots, your rocket belt, your rocket whatever, and fully DPS Sha. Avoid frontals, especially if you're the tank. There's not much you can do about huddle if you're an ranged DPS and you're not acting as a champion of the light here, if you're not one of those free marked people. So just make sure that when you get it, as soon as it's over, you move away immediately, and I mean immediately, because yeah, you could be standing on a water spout. Make sure you're not standing in the bluish cloud left by Sha when just before he emerges back, because that is a one-shot. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say. Based on what I've seen, based on what I've experienced today with this fight, I would say that the right choice is to single target DPS Sha as much as possible, because it's much easier to deal with 4 ads than it is to deal with 5 or maybe even 6. You should have enough DPS to kill him if you've been raiding even a bit. Like, if I look at my gear here, let's see, we go here, and I think it was summary. Yeah, if I look at my gear, it's not particularly impressive. In fact, let's just do this, damage done. So you can see I was on item level 499, and that was after equipping the trinket I bought during this GDKP, which was the Terror in the Mists. Before that I had the elegant trinket. Whereas other hunters, this guy is on 504, this guy, well, he was dead anyway, I think, but oh no, this is the dead guy. He had 501, 495, 491, so it's like, yeah, whatever. The main thing about parsing is whether you use your cooldowns at the beginning or whether you use them after you return to the main platform with that 60% buff. And the cleaving part in phase 2, that's what really matters, I would say. As well as, obviously, as a hunter, whether you've had to use the Terrans for the full duration once, twice, maybe even 3 times throughout the fight, who knows. Yeah, that's about it. It's a very long video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful. Good luck with your kill, and yeah, see you next time.